Thank you, Lascan Corla. And what I might say is it's very important to listen to my colleagues, Minister McEntee and O'Gorman and other ministers outline the spending priorities of today. May I speak about the future, in fact, and the Future Ireland Fund that was established as part of this budget, which probably generates the least headlines, but is, in my view, one of the most significant things done by this House in legislation to come, but by this government decided yesterday and brought to the House yesterday. The Future Ireland Fund will take 4 billion of our current, what's known as rainy day fund, and 0.8% of GDP every year thereafter. And if we all have the discipline not to touch it, this government, the following government and the one after, if we can just not touch it and leave it until 2035, Department of Finance officials anticipate that it will reach, through compound interest and good investment, 100 billion euros by 2035. And if we can create a sovereign wealth fund of that scale and of that size, future governments beyond 2035 will be in the very, very good fortunate position to be able to take the piece off the top and use that for current spending. And I imagine Ireland in 2035, with the resilience and the sustainability in its public finances of having access, the existence of a fund like that, and access to the returns of it every year, to have the discretion to be able to spend that, to have the resilience and to be able to ensure that we could develop a fund way beyond that, like Norway, who don't need to borrow and have a fund that is so strong at this point that it will always provide sustainability for their country. Imagine at the same time having brought commercially based floating wind to the west coast and the 800,000 square kilometres that are there, the 5th largest country in the EU, including our maritime area, able to generate electricity not just for this island, but for a great part of Europe as well, able to convert it to hydrogen in the Atlantic, and to be able to combine that with our extraordinarily strong aircraft leasing sector, who are looking to develop sustainable aviation fuel out of this state, and the marriage of those two things happening by 2035. This is a hugely significant decision by the government. It is the very essence of not electioneering. It is the very essence of prudent, sustainable management, not just of the public finances to date, but of really planning. If there is any young person watching this debate tonight, if there's any young person interpreting the budget and what it means for them for the future, this fund is by far the most significant thing that has been decided by this House for so many, many years. And we could never have imagined being in this position 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. We are a small, open economy, susceptible to the shocks of the world, and we have to provide for ourselves, provide a resilience in our economy for the future, and this fund does that if we can all just be disciplined enough not to touch it.